Welcome back to the AB Scout Project. I'm Krager, and this is Alpha Bravo. And today we're going to take a look at the Amazon Transformers Legacy Wreck and Roll Collection Bulkhead. Look at him. Here's the box he comes in. This, of course, is part of the diorama. This is about the mid-right side of the diorama. But, and my box got a little bit smushed. But, got Autobots on that side, Decepticons on that side, product pictures on that side. And that's the box. And the box comes with Bulkhead, which we'll get to in a second. But the biggest thing is it comes with the B side of the hammer. And we'll get to that at the end of the episode. But for now, we've got Bulkhead. Of course, this is just a direct recolor of the Legacy Bulkhead. And they did add a hammer here, which will probably go to another figure. But overall, looks pretty good. A lot more camo. They put the wrecker symbol on him. So, really, not too bad. Alright, let's go ahead and bring in the Legacy version. And we see this one's a little bit more olive green. And of course, the added camo. Which, you know, I like it. I mean, kind of less paint apps in the shoulders, though. I mean, less silver all around. So, yeah, more camo. Anyway, let's just see what it looks like all the way around. They did make the weapon out of a darker transparency. There's the shield back there. But pretty much exactly the same. Now, we'll look at the one new accessory is the hammer, and it's kind of a short hammer, but keeping with the theme. Like I said, I'll probably give that to breakdown later. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the vehicle mode. And here we have the Amazon Wreck and Roll Bulkhead in its vehicle mode, and it looks just like the other vehicle mode. We'll go ahead and pull it in. And you can see, like I said, it's all the same storage, just more camouflage paint apps, and the symbol. The hammer mounts to the side here. There's not enough room to mount it back there like you did for the other two weapons, but they gave you an extra long channel there to be able to mount it pretty easy to the side. So, really not a lot to report there. Alright, let's go ahead and wrap it up. So is this our new G1 IDW Bulkhead? I'm going to go ahead and say yeah. I mean, the camouflage gives him some extra interest. The reduction of silver makes him kind of blend into the background more like he did in the IDW comics. I mean, plus you get the nifty little hammer, which you can leave on him or give to breakdown instead of the arms micron. But otherwise, I think I like it better. I mean, he just has a lot more visual interest than the Legacy release. I mean, if you already have the Legacy release, the only thing you are getting is the deco and the hammer. So you might bounce that, but I think I like this better, especially if you didn't buy the Legacy release, buy the Amazon release. So, our new G1 / IDW Bulkhead is the Amazon Wreck and Roll. Alright, let's go on to our next one. And finally for today, we're taking a look at the Legacy Wreck and Roll Collection Springer. Now, the box art looks pretty good, and like I said, this is the middle left of the diorama. Autobots on that side, Decepticons on that side, product shots on that side, and that's all for the box. So, we get the Springer, and we get the C side of the hammer. So we'll get to that at the end of the episode. So, let's take a look at this Legacy Wreck and Roll Springer. This, of course, is supposed to be the Marvel Comics coloring, and also looks more like the original G1 toy. They did give him the wrecker symbol, and kind of washed out the colors like they were in the Marvel Comics. But you see, take a look at them, all the same accessories, everything that the Siege came with, just, you know, more like the Marvel Comics, which the Wreck and Roll collection is, targeted toward. So bring in the Siege, and we see the difference in color and the swords that like to detach. But you see the Siege was definitely more the cartoon coloration, where the Wreck and Rule collection is a Marvel Comics / the original toy coloration. And you see a lot more yellow, a lot more details picked out with the Siege. You don't see a lot different there. More deeper greens with the Siege. Let me see. Not too bad. I said I haven't noticed much mold degradation on most of these, so the molds lasted pretty well. All right, so this was our G1 winner. Let's look at our IDW winner. Of course, is the T30. And of course, between the two, of course, the T30 is going to remain the IDW champion because it's modeled after the IDW Springer. So they're not really in competition. The IDW is still going to be the T30. So let's go ahead and take a look at the vehicle modes. And here we have Springer in his first vehicle mode. And it looks pretty good. I mean, it's definitely more the toy Marvel comic colors. Do a quick 360 here. And again, bring Siege in here. And let's say the only difference is the deco. And you see the original Siege went more, cartoon with more of the emerald greens, a lot more yellow touches on the front, a lot more paint apps on this back portion. Again, this is off the Marvel Comics, so the Marvel Comics, they didn't want to color that much. So there's a wrap around with both of them. You see, pretty much the same. All right, bring in the T30. Again, these guys aren't really in competition since the T30 is a, IDW comics look. So you got Marvel versus IDW. And, but still, I like the more bulky T30. I also like the wheels on the T30 better too. So, they actually gave them some texture and they look pretty neat. So, all right, let's go to helicopter mode. And here we have the Wrecker Springer in his helicopter mode, and it looks very Springer helicoptery. I mean, what we come to expect. Free spinning blades. I mean, just like Siege. I mean, everything's the same as Siege, but it's still actually really convincing for a Springer helicopter mode. And bring in the Siege. So again, same color changes. They both have free spinning blades. Kind of hard to fit them both in the shot. But, yeah, let you see all the difference in the decos there. All right, bring in the T30. And actually, I think the Siege mold actually pulls off a more effective helicopter mold. I mean the T30, while good, is kind of kind of thrown in at the last minute. Like this mode was the afterthought. I still like the morphing cockpit better on the T30 than the just static cockpit that you have on the Siege / Amazon Wrecker mold. But the helicopter blades just don't compare. It's definitely done better on the Siege mold. But anyway, they're not in competition. This is for the Marvel Comics, and it looks pretty good. All right, let's go to final thoughts. So, is the Wreck and Roll Collection Springer our new G1 and or IDW? IDW definitely not, because like I said repeatedly before, this is made straight out of the comic book, so our T30 remains our IDW Springer. Now, as far as the other two for G1, the Siege is definitely more colored toward the cartoon. So, Siege is still our G1. This is, like I said, the Marvel comic aesthetic. So, if you want to put all the Marvel comic records together, this would be the Marvel Comics record springer you'd use for that shelf. So if you wanted the more toy-looking set, Marvel Records, G1 Cartoon, and IDW Records. Anyway, so a maybe on the win. Yeah. If you want a special shelf for them. But anyway, G1, IDW, Marvel. So let's wrap this up. And I thought I'd just take a moment here to put together the boxes. You got the Springer and the Bulkhead here, and when I smush them together to get rid of the smush in the Bulkhead box, you get the mid scene of the statue for the diorama. And that looks pretty neat. We'll bring in the Diaclone Twin Twist box, and we'll raise that up so you can see. And maybe back out just a little bit too. And you can see, smush these together, align that collar, and there you go. There's the top part of the diorama. All right, we'll take that off. And we only have the left side of the lower diorama. So you get one side of it. We're still waiting on the Leadfoot and Mastodon box. So anyway, those are the boxes thus far. All right, next we're going to take a look at the hammer. All right, and here's where the hammer assembly left off with the segments here, with the A and B segments. We'll bring in the B and C ends. Now what we have to do for these is we got to bend these in to make that more of a box end. We'll go ahead and do it on both ends while we're here. Kind of overbend them so that the spring back brings them back to square. All right. So we'll start with the B segment. Now the tabs labeled B, you only bend once. So you only bend them back once. And again, I'm kind of overbending them, trying to get them to spring back to 90 there. All right, now the segments that are left, they have double bends, you can see there, and these will bend twice. So we bend them over once, bend them over twice, and repeat ad nauseum. And this is because these lie flat on the ends of the hammer. So there's our B side. Do the same for the C side. So single bend on the C segments, double bend on the non-C segments. And it's nice that they put all the pre-bends in there, so you know it automatically breaks down. All right, we'll assemble these. Again, they have the kind of serrated ends, so it'll hold in. So we will align all of those and press in. And I'll probably come back with double stick tape later for these tabs that just folded in. But there's the C end. We'll do the B side. Come on. Get all these in alignment. Yep, missed one. Missed two. Again, for the non-tab side, I'm probably going to come back with some double stick tape. But anyway, there is the hammer thus far. The only thing we're missing is the base that comes with Leadfoot. So we are most of the way there. We just need the base so that it can stand tall. Anyway, let's really wrap it up this time. And there we have it with the Amazon Legacy Wreck and Roll Collection Bulkhead and Springer. So, thank you for joining me today on the AB Scout Project. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, ring that bell, and all that good stuff. And I will see y'all later.